Be careful what you say or tweet on social media because you don't know when it could come back and cancel you. Are we seeking to allow growth through accountability, or are we simply imposing our points of view by public shaming? I'm Nina, and I'm your host of Anti-Cancel Culture. Points of view by public shaming. I'm Nina.
Hello. We are here with episode 8 of Anti-Cancel Culture. Thank you all for joining us yet again.
Hello.
It is good to have you here. I am having some stand by.
Joining us yet again.
Haha, technology. Let me be great. Again, from the top. My name is Nina Bruton, and I'm your host of Anti-Cancel Culture. Again, thank you for joining us. This is episode 8. We are excited to bring on our guest, Christina Faith. And Christina Faith is a phenomenal woman. Her story is amazing. She was born to a casino executive and drug dealing hustler. That alone let you know that she about that life. Okay, Faith's life journey is the school of hard knocks. She's a graduate of Rutgers University and holds her Master's of Divinity from Eastern University. And she owns a full-service creative production company focusing on original content that influences culture and educational mentorship. Ladies and gentlemen, Christina Faith. That educational mentorship and influencing culture is what we're all about here at Anti-Cancel Culture. So again, Christina Faith, welcome to the show. We thank you for joining us. Hello.
How you doing? Thank you so much for having me.
I'm doing so wonderful. Go ahead.
No, I will say you guys do this so well. You know, you guys have figured out COVID and figured out how to make a show during this time. It was just an easy process doing it with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Very good. Thank you so much. And I'm sure our producers are grateful for that. Let's get right to it. Should we just cancel culture? Because it's a whole big old mess. And what's crazy, I even put on Twitter today, like there are layers to this thing. And every time I turn around, there's another aspect of cancel culture that I see people canceling people and trying to cancel people, and the techniques and the strategies and the digging up. I said, how do y'all find tweets so fast from people's past? Like, is there code word? Like, are you searching? What do we do? And should we keep cancel culture for influencers, celebrities, since they have access to PR? They should know better, right? Who can assist in damage control versus everyday people who do not? What are we to do?
Oh, you're asking me. So
I am.
There's no such thing as cancel culture, right? Because as soon as you try to cancel somebody, what you actually do is you amplify their voice and give them validity. And so I think a big issue is with cancel culture is we've made it very toxic, right? So there's a lot of times people need to be held accountable for stuff. But the other side of that accountability is that we want people to be held accountable to our own morals and values, not necessarily like things that are always good or bad for somebody else. And so, cancel culture has been around forever. They tried to cancel Jesus. So, what you gonna do?
I mean, that's a very good point, right? They did try to cancel Jesus, and it is something. It's interesting the way culture brings up these catchy phrases, right? To give voice to, like you say, or to give a name to something that we've always done. We've banned people from countries, we ban people from families, we ban people but we don't offer people that space to grow. And like you said, it's definitely toxic. And so if there is a time, right, I think where we are now is finding the balance between holding people accountable. And in every episode, this has been brought up regardless of the topic, but how do we toe the line between holding people accountable and finding that people just aren't for us, like you said. We judge people based on our own morals and our own standards, our own perspectives and experiences. So when is the punishment over, right? Like, who's to say that what's the timeline for a tweet?
Listen, I don't know. They got me scared though. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I started to just go back through my Twitter and try to delete things.
Wow.
Mainly because people will take things out of context. And so I do have some really strong belief systems, and I don't want that to be a barrier for other people to understand me, to hear me, to experience me. And so, or I may have grown, right? So there was a time that me and Beyonce, I didn't like some of her values or some of the things that she was promoting. I'm now a Beehive fan, right? And so people grow, and I think it depends on what it is. Like Harvey Weinstein, he's never coming back, but he can come back, for example, in business, and he can be under a pseudonym, and we would never know who he is.
Right.
I think a lot of times cancel culture is mainly about taking away people's platform of influence in order to hold them accountable, not necessarily holding them accountable to the action that they committed that was wrong to a person or to a group of people.
Right. That's a really good point. That is a really good point. And we find it difficult to differentiate, right? Like you said, he could come up with a whole new name.
Trust me, he ain't broke right now.
He ain't broke, right? The money, he still got the money. So he can still do what he wants to do, technically. But there needs to be that accountability, right? Yeah. People, yes, they definitely need to be held to some sort of standard, right? You can't be out here wilding. Excuse me. And the question comes up, are we seeking public shaming rather than accountability? Tell me this, what have you seen that we, the people, get from, right, the shaming of people in the public square, right, or in the public forum online now? What is it that we the people get? What is it that moves people to that culture, into that level of toxicity?
Well, I think it depends, right? I think sometimes people have trauma bonding, right? And so if someone was affected by something and then we shame that person for it, I think a lot of the times we feel like we're bonding with that person, or it's retribution for our own ills. And so, yeah, it's kind of, Kevin Hart get canceled every 5 minutes, right? And it's almost like the bigger you are, the harder people come after you. Yeah. And we don't, like the whole hoe thing. He wasn't calling his daughter a hoe, guys. And so, but we don't allow people to joke anymore, because oftentimes some of our jokes feel like they are offensive to another person. I think in that moment, unless they're really causing harm to a person or causing people to be thought of in a certain manner in the joke, it's a joke. Like, we would not have the comedians that we have now, or even then. Like, Richard Pryor could never live on the stage. No. Like, it's comedy. So I think sometimes it really just depends on what the lane is, and then also what we're trying to hold someone accountable for. I'm personally a person, if you don't believe what I believe, it's okay. Yeah. And you shouldn't feel like you can't be in relationship with me because of our difference in beliefs. I think a big part of cancel culture is we want everyone to believe as we believe. And we don't want to give people that room to grow, to figure out kind of like, well, why do you believe that? Or why are you like that? What is that? Let me into who you are. And so, but I think a big part of it is we don't like rejection. And when that rejection comes from people and they don't believe exactly like we do, or they have caused some type of damage to our heart, we just want to cancel them as opposed to dealing with it and growing with it.
That's a really good point. I recently had a conversation with Councilman Aaron Rouse from the Virginia Beach City Council. And one of the things that he said when we were talking about the, Republican versus Democrat, right? This was prior to the election. And one of the things that he said is that we don't take the time to know people, right? We see them as a D, we see them as an R, we might see their flag, whatever flag that may be flying. But the fact of the matter is, this is a person, right? Yeah. Who has suffered cancer, who has lost a loved one, who has done, who has experienced many of the things that we've experienced. But because of the standard we try to hold them to, right? We don't allow ourselves to see the humanness in that individual and give them the grace to make those mistakes and to make the wrong joke at the wrong time, right? Or go too far with a joke or whatever the case may be, and then bounce back from that.
I think the difference between, for example, entertainment and politics is that how you behave, how you act affects not just you, it affects everyone. It's not like we choose, for example, to watch this comedy special, right?
Yeah.
With politics, it's such a broader stroke, but we have been so separated based on policies as well as just parties that we don't even see the difference, or even that they're really the same. It's just that one fights for this, one fights for that, but they're really just fighting for themselves in the midst of it.
Yeah.
And so, we can't. I'm thinking, where do we go from here with the cancel culture? Where do we go? Like, what happens? We're just gonna cancel everyone.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Somebody said that with celebrities, the bigger the celebrity, the harder they fall, right? Or the greater the pressure to keep people happy and to keep people on their team and on their side, and coming to their shows. Or supporting them even in politics, supporting their vote. Because there are people clearly that we even vote for that have said things in the past that were like, that don't quite line up with what I believe. But what am I able to, where's the give and take, right? And I think that some people may even see it as being hypocritical. But how do we deal with feeling like hypocrites by extending grace to people who would otherwise don't line up, their views and their behaviors don't necessarily line up with who we are, but you can see something in them that you can work with, right?
Yeah. I think a part of the issue with cancel culture and us figuring out how to align is that so much of life is displayed before everyone now. You don't have a chance to make a mistake behind closed doors and move on and grow from it. Everything that you do is out loud. Or you have, for example, our current president who just loves to tweet about everything. But what I realize even about him is that he's human and he's deeply flawed, right? And so, but I can choose how I respond to him. So I think a big issue is, how do we respond to human beings, right? We don't necessarily have to agree with them, but we allow ourselves to be affected or not affected by who people are and what they do. And so if you're not vibing with someone, you don't have to let them in your force field. I am the author of the mute button. Like, as soon as Instagram got it, I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord. I don't want to unfollow you, but I kind of want to mute you, because right now I don't really want to see what you're doing. And sometimes I tell our friends, like, you know what? I'm not gonna be looking at your stories because I love you, but I don't want to see your content. And so I think a big part of the issue is that we don't realize that we can mute not human beings, but some of our actions and the ways that we engage with each other online and on Twitter and on Facebook and social media. Everybody got an opinion, right? And so you can go back and forth with people, but most times on social media, people don't necessarily want to hear what you have to say. They just want to be heard. They're not speaking to be to understand. They're speaking to be understood. And so a lot of us want validation for who we are and what we are. And I think we just have to give people the ability to grow. I think good friendships happen when people have completely, totally different thought processes, but they can meet in the middle. And so, I ain't got a heaven or hell to put people in. I can be like, I don't think the good books say that. I don't think the Lord Jesus say that. But hey, he loved you too. So therefore I love you as well. And that doesn't mean that I need to agree with you.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think that I found that when I am able to, I had to work on my own emotional intelligence, right? And,
all of us.
And my ability to not get so riled up. I remember years ago, I used to, God bless my husband, he's seen me through it all. But I used to be like, but it's the principle of the matter. It's the principle. And he was like, not everyone has your principles.
Nope.
Not everyone shares your principles. And I was like, oh, you're right. Yeah. You literally, and that's something that we don't think about. We're looking at people like, how could you say such a thing? But I've said such things. Yeah. Right? And so I definitely have to.
I've said some stupid stuff.
Some totally stupid stuff. I told someone recently, I think in our last episode, I told Toby Gadsden, I said, look, Gaddison, pardon me, I said, I literally took a break from Instagram because I, like many people, got on there and just spewing out whatever, not hatred by no means, but my little funky opinions. And I had to take a step back after, first of all, somebody's fans came for me, right? Because I went too far. And B, again, my husband, my wise old husband at the wise old age of 30 something, right? He said, just because you have an opinion on a thing doesn't mean that you have to share the opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to, you're totally welcome to have an opinion, but you don't have to share it just because the platform's there. And so I literally, like you said, because I was afraid of being called out again or saying the wrong thing, I just stepped away from Twitter for like 6 years. I didn't even, I would go for, you tweet from, Instagram and put it over there, but I didn't engage because again, I was afraid of saying the wrong thing and people coming for me. And that's a difficult thing to deal with if we're not ready. But,
people will come.
Yeah. For sure. And so, how can we have the hard conversations without canceling? Again, some of my greatest areas of growth I found have been when I am able to have those conversations, those conflicting views with people. And so is it this culture's responsibility to build bridges rather than canceling influencers and celebrities?
I think it depends on the person and depends on the situation, right? I think accountability and cancel don't mean the same thing because an Olivia Pope can fix it, right? So there are fixers, and so I think it really comes to the level of accountability and those people who are on the side of, depending on what the issue is. I had this thing that my trainer told me years ago, and so we're in the gym, we're lifting weights, right? And so the set could be like 20 reps, right? And I can do it at a lower weight than I actually need to. And so he would say, you know what? You like it. I love it. And so that's literally the concept of life that I've taken. And when he used to say it used to get on my nerves, but it convicted me to change.
Yeah.
Like, I know, nah, you like it. I love it. Okay, whatever. Let me change the weight. So I think really with cancel culture, it really just depends on the situation. Should someone who is a rapist be held accountable? They most certainly should.
Yeah.
Should someone who has said something that offends another person or a group of people be held accountable? It really depends on the situation.
Yeah.
I think it depends on who's loudest, right? If I don't agree with something that you do or someone or what you are, but I'm not hateful towards you, I don't think you should be canceled, right? Because if that's the case, then we're all going to be persecuted for something. And it's a slippery slope. And I erase tweets. I don't even I be wanting to say stuff, but then I be like, you know what? It's not even delete. It's not. I don't even save it as a draft. It's not even worth it.
Yeah.
And so because people, we don't know how to communicate with each other. And so if I have a differing opinion, generally what happens is that we dismiss each other as opposed to really communicating to figure out what it is. And so I don't think there's a full answer to this because human beings are culturally, we're all different.
Yeah.
And so, but I think we need to stop canceling everybody. You can unfollow somebody. You ain't got to engage them.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that we really want to get across is that, particularly when it comes to social media and our social communities that we find ourselves in, it's really a matter of curating what you want to see and who you want to engage in. Okay. Because there's a whole world of people. And I see, like you said, I see tweets every day that it's like, I want to get involved, but do I really have a dog in the fight, so to speak?
No.
Like, I don't have to, discuss Barack Obama's book with people who are, don't like him or hate how he to try to pick up women back in high school. Like people are trying to cancel him for all the things, and it's like, come on, right?
They canceled Barack 100,000 times.
For real. And now, am I shouting from the mountaintop say he's the savior of the world? Absolutely not. He's a man, right? Just as I'm a woman, and I don't want somebody dragging my name through the streets either, even if some of the things I say may have been drag worthy. That grace is something that I will say it over and over again. This is one of the greatest quotes that I've heard this year, is that a mind filled with shame cannot grow.
Yeah.
So if we're shaming people and shutting them down at every turn, there's no growth happening there. There's no growth happening there, right? We are going to get ready for some questions. We could do this all night, and it's such a vast conversation and topic that there really is no one answer, except either we're giving people the space to grow or we are not. And for those who are not willing to grow, I can walk away from you without any hard feelings, no love loss, ain't no love loss like we used to say back in the day. Ain't no love lost. We are going to get ready for a commercial break. Yeah. So we'll be right back with the rest of Anti-Cancel Culture, episode 8 with Christina Faith.
Ever wish you had a devotional that was written specifically for entrepreneurs and in a voice you can relate to? Well, now you do. Big Idea Food, the best-selling devotional for entrepreneurs and creatives, is exactly what you've been needing to feed your entrepreneurial soul. This devotional will help you push past fears, build more time with God into your daily routine, and gain clarity on your next steps so you can build the business you know you were called to build. Big Idea Food is now on sale at bigideafood.com. Get your copy today, and remember, eat more, fear less.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Welcome back to Anti-Cancel Culture. We've been having a great conversation with Christina Faith, talking about canceling cancel culture. Is that even realistic? Right? Because like you said, it's kind of always been about. So we're going to take up some audience questions. If we have some, can we dissect the difference between accountability and cancellation? That's a really big thing that people want to talk about. Maybe sometimes people cancel because they want to reject certain actions, behaviors, or views. A disassociation. Hashtag team cancel versus cancel. I like that. You better make a hashtag. Okay, you have to see it in my stories. Team cancel versus cancel. Who's responsible for holding the people accountable? I think that's where we really get to. Is it our responsibility, or do we allow the Olivia Popes of the world to fix people's stuff?
Yeah, I think the cancellation causes the accountability, and a lot of times, I think when we say cancel, what we don't realize is that sometimes, so for example, prominent well, this has happened a lot in the last couple years. A prominent pastor says something really crazy, right? And, people of color cancel them immediately, right? And I'm not saying that he was wrong or he was right, but he needed to be held accountable. So what happened was somebody that was on the panel had a conversation with him after, the panel and held him accountable for his statements.
Yes,
so then he retracted and said, I was wrong. This is what I thought I meant. But at the same time, I see how that thinking was wrong. That's accountability. We don't like Kevin Hart, and I keep using him because he's always getting canceled. He just got canceled again.
Yeah.
We don't like when he comes and explains his jokes.
Yeah.
But a part of that is him holding himself accountable for his jokes.
Yeah.
And so, cancellation can lead to accountability. The people call out your issues.
Yeah.
It's the responsibility of those around you, or those who are then, holding up the banner of your issues to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
I ain't got a pot to piss in when it comes to Kevin Hart. It's just, I can't hold him accountable.
Right.
If I wanted to, I could tweet and be like, yo, what you said was blasey, blasey, blasey.
Yeah.
I think that's causing people to want to hold others accountable. Because, do people hate Kevin Hart? No, they love him. That's why they keep watching it.
The people keep watching. There's a whole, and so, but then I've even seen people trying to cancel the people who still support him, right? Like, it's an ongoing thing. And what I found, the thing that I found myself asking is, okay, when it comes to the apologies that people make, right?
Are they genuine? Yeah.
Are they genuine? And so,
though.
It takes a level of discernment to be able to tell whether the person is genuine in their statement. And then, of course, a lot of times we do see gaslighting that happens.
Yeah.
People, they come with this apology that is basically like, I'm sorry you felt that no, you were wrong. Like, you can say you were wrong. It's not about how I felt, the people felt you were wrong. Like, say that you're, and then sometimes just take a step back. Just take a step back and listen, right? Listen to what the people are saying. I think that hearing from culture can be helpful in some instances to hear and kind of gauge the temperature of where the culture is. Right.
Yeah.
Velma says, but sometimes people like to cancel and go off online because it excites them. You're right.
It is. It's a rush to feel like you're better than somebody else, right? And so in the midst of that, what you really have to say is, when I'm tweeting or I'm saying this, what is my heart and my intent beyond bringing it to the forefront? I think a big part of it is that we don't know people's intents, right? The Lord is the only one who discerns the heart and the mind of humans. He's the only one who really knows what's going on there. Thank God. Because besides us, and sometimes we don't even know what's going on inside of our own selves. And so I think a big part of the issue with cancel culture and accountability is that oftentimes, 95% of the time, most likely, it has someone's finances are attached to it. So yeah, I'm going to, like you just said, I'm going to give this apology and not really mean it, right? Yeah, I'm going to admit that I did it and not really mean it. And so yeah, it's almost, we don't really know where someone is until years later. The author of the hymn Amazing Grace, he was a slave owner, right? And it wasn't until years later that we saw a repentant heart towards it, and that's where we get Amazing Grace, because he started to repent for his, for his sins in holding God's humans, right? The people that God created. So yeah, we don't know. So much money attached to it.
It really is, and I think that money definitely changes the game.
Changes everything. That's why we cancel them. And we want to take away their platform.
Right. And what people, we kind of recently had a conversation about setting our own standard, right? Our core values, having our core values, and that will help us to be able to hopefully avoid these moments, right? Like you said, we have to check our own hearts in our intent in being online. Let me see. Velma, again, thank you so much, Velma. You in it, girl. So where are you to put your opinion online then, if that's what Twitter is for? Again, I personally think it's just a matter of the intention. Again, what is your goal? What is your end goal?
I think freedom of speech, you can do whatever you want. Right? So put your opinion wherever you want it to go, right? If I don't like a movie, before I say I don't like the movie, sometimes I'll think about the people that it would affect if I say I don't like the movie. So for example, I won't critique some Black and brown filmmakers at all online. Not to say that it's good. In my private DMs and my chats with my friends, I'm like, don't waste your time, right? Right. Or, what I've seen some influencers do recently is say, something that y'all saying is hype and banging and dope is really not. And so, as to not cause water to be on somebody's bridge, you put your opinion wherever you want to put your opinion. That's the beautiful part of the American government, is that we have the freedom of speech. I think cancel culture is really going to be challenged in the years ahead, because what we're really saying is we don't want people to have freedom of speech or intent or religious freedoms. And that's going to be a major issue in the years ahead.
Yeah. One of the things, and I even share this with my middle schoolers that I teach, I do some social mentoring with them. And one of the things that I tell them is that, we have freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want, but with freedom comes responsibility.
It does. Yep.
And one of them said, I've heard that, like, with great power comes great responsibility. And I was like, yes, exactly. And so I know for me, one of the things when it comes to putting my opinion out on Twitter, I will again, how is my opinion? Will it add to the greater picture? Is it healing a thing? Is it bringing a different perspective that will be helpful for people to grow, or for anyone who reads this to be able to say, you know what? That's something to consider. If it's not,
that's amazing.
If it's not for the greater good, I keep it. I've learned to keep it. I don't have to have something to say again about everything and about every person, even if they are trash. I don't have to have something to say about it. I don't have to get up and join the train to let them know that what they did or what they say is trash.
Let me tell you, people say some trash things, and you have a wise husband. I have a wise husband as well. He's like, everybody don't need your opinion. It could be the right opinion, but everybody don't need it.
Everybody don't need it.
I've learned that the hard way. I just be like,
you right.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you again. So for getting me straight, sir. But yes, we give thanks for godly, wise husbands. Christina, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, sis. Again, I'm looking forward to so much more getting to know you on Twitter. And I'm again, now that I'm back in the groove, I'm finding people on there and people who are like-minded and who speak my same language of love. And so I'm looking forward to getting to know you more. And this is Anti-Cancel Culture. We did the thing, y'all. we are looking to cancel our attitudes around the cancel culture. It's something that will always be, but we have to change our perspectives and our intent when we are engaging with others, not just online and in the social spaces, but in our real lives, right? In finding and using discernment to know when to cancel and when to offer grace. Always offer grace. And sometimes it's a matter of curating your own timeline or walking away from relationships, and that's okay. Y'all, I thank you for joining us tonight. This is Anti-Cancel Culture. We have one more episode on December 17th, and we really hope that you'll go ahead and join us live. In the meantime, you can catch episodes 1 through 7 on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Android TV, Google Chromecast, or your Apple TV device on the KL Jones Network. Make sure you download the KP Media TV app, and episodes 1 through 7 on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Android TV, Google Chromecast, or your Apple TV device on the KL Jones Network. Make sure you download the KP Media TV app. And for now, I'm Nina Bruton, and this is Anti-Cancel Culture. Peace.